Stores are gearing up this morning for the official kickoff to the holiday shopping season. The National Retail Federation says more than 140 million of us will spend money at brick-and-mortar stores and online. But despite those big data breaches over the past year, less than 20% of shoppers say they will let the cyber attacks influence their plans. They're still shopping. Tim Stevens is editor-at-large for our partners at CNET and joins us once again at the table. Always good to see you, Tim.
Thank you for having me.
So the research shows that most of the data that was stolen came from in-store transactions.
Right.
And online seemed to be okay. Does it mean that online is safer?
There are certainly risks to both, but I certainly feel a little bit more in control of my destiny when I'm shopping online. I feel like I can take more measures to protect myself. When you walk into a store, you're kind of handing over the control to the retailer. And certainly retailers have a lot of great countermeasures in place, but I feel a little bit more in control online.
What do you do if your data has been stolen?
It's very difficult. I mean, obviously, if it's just your credit card, then you get a new credit card number. If it's your social security number and something a little bit more important than that, at that point, you need to look into some sort of an online protection system like LifeLock or something like that. Because at that point, you know, your social security number is not going to change. You can't go to the bank and get a new one. So you really need to look at ongoing protection. You need to look at your credit report. You need to make sure that somebody isn't stealing your identity, doing things that they shouldn't be doing with it.
So what are we supposed to do if we're either in the store or online this holiday season?
Well, if you're shopping online, a few simple things that you can do. One is to make sure that your browser is updated, that you got the most recent version. That's a pretty easy and important thing to do. Make sure that you're shopping on websites that support SSL encryption, which is basically just a way of making sure that nobody can look at your data as it's going from your browser back to the retailer. The easy way to tell that is if you're shopping the site and you see a little green lock up in the address bar, that means you're in good shape. And also make sure that you shop on sites that you trust. That's an important thing to do too.
Well, the CEO of Target is on deck. I saw you talking to him in the green room. And they were the subject of a big data breach last year. Do you think stores are doing enough to make sure that we're safe? We'll talk to Brian about that when he joins us. But what do you think?
Well, stores are certainly doing a lot of things, and they're not telling us everything that they're doing, of course, because they want to keep some things safe and quiet. But ultimately, one of the big things that they're doing is simplifying their networks. Both Target and Home Depot, the breaches were really thanks to third-party vendors that had keys into the network effectively. Target and Home Depot are both looking at their networks, simplifying things, making it harder to get into the network, and that's a great way to keep things more secure.
Question is how long that takes before all that changes.
It certainly takes a long time. We're seeing a lot of other major changes going through, too. For example, switching from a traditional credit card to the chip and PIN system, things that they've had in Europe for decades, we're finally seeing here in the U.S. That'll help to make things a lot more secure. We'll see those rolled out pretty widely by next year.
Tim Stevens, thanks.
You're welcome.